Okay, welcome in, folks, to another great episode of Living in San Diego. I'm your host, Hanish Polakal. I'm joined by Joss Taylor. Joss, hello, welcome back.
It wasn't until we started doing these that I learned how to say your last name.
Now you know.
Isn't that terrible?
The reality is, I'm pretty sure there's only one Hanish in San Diego.
I know.
And probably only in California.
Yeah.
The last time I did a Facebook search, there was 120 on Facebook.
That's not very many.
Yeah, and there's 0 Hanish Polakals.
Whoa, you're the one and only.
Yeah, correct. So,
wow.
So rare name, and I'm okay with it. You know, it's tough when you're a kid, but when you grow up, you're like, okay, I can deal with the uniqueness.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, we've got some unique topic today, which is some of the top parks in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And having 3 children myself and loving parks, I've been to most of them. Actually, I've been to all the top ones that we were talking about today, and probably most of the ones because I always like to pick new spots with playgrounds. So just a little variety for mom and dad for sitting there, and just to check out a new location and check out the amenities near there, whether it's coffee or donuts or something like that. So let's get to number 1.
Okay.
It's in my hometown of Pacific Beach, and it's the incomparable Kate Sessions Park. Kate Sessions Park is like a sloped park on Mount Soledad in the east side of PB, just west of the 5 highway, and it has got epic views looking south towards Mission Bay, all of San Diego, the city skyline, and even the ocean from there.
Wow.
They have a nice slope there, and then there's a flat area where kids do soccer, there's a playground, and there's actually a whole canyon type space, open space, where it's like native brush, so people go on hikes and take their dogs or can walk with. And so you got kind of 3 unique areas, right? The grassy area, it's sloped, a flat area, and the playground, and then the canyons where you can go hiking. So in the grass area, it's incredible because in the summer they have summer concert series. And on Sundays, they have full-on bands there, food trucks, ice cream trucks there.
Get out!
Thousands of people come in, lay out the blankets, and you're out enjoying live music, food, family. Parking is tough around there. The parking lot is kind of small, so you can get street parking. It's great for locals because you can ride your bike or walk over there, and it's great for that. And then there's always kids' birthday parties. I've been to a dozen of them.
Wow.
And so I really like it because it's a beautiful view. It's breathtaking. If you go there and you haven't been there, and you get to see all of San Diego from there. It's awesome to do. Sometimes you can get a little crazier. People do things like ice sledding, where they get a block of ice, sled down the hill on a block of ice, which I've done, and weird things like that. And you'll see there's little paths, and so it's a fun place to go. Beautiful views, and a lot of times people do have off-leash dogs there, which isn't allowed.
Okay.
But at your own discretion, as long as it's not causing problems, I don't mind. I'm not the dog police, but people do it, especially when it's not very busy. Then you can get away with it. If it's busy, then. My dog always listens until it didn't.
Right, until that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, as long as you clean up and with the little baggies and clean up after them,
Well, they look away and then they drop their load, and then I'm like, your dog did that stuff over there.
Drop their load!
So I'm like, can you go pick it up?
Yeah,
and
do you
like,
mind? Okay. What you've described here is kind of eye-opening because I feel like you get into the same habit of going, my husband and I like to take walks for exercise, and you end up getting into the same habit of going to the same places over and over and over again. So I'm listening to you describe this park, and I'm like, we've got to get there.
Yeah.
And we've got to go see these views, and we've got to quit being so boring and going to the same places over and over
for
again.
sure.
Yeah.
Let's get to number 2.
Waterfront Park.
Right next to the county administration building, north and south of it. And they have a newer, modern playground set up for kids, which is pretty robust, which is dope. And then they also have a lot of water features where it's like shallow, and they've got like jets that shoot out, and it's like it's not like deep enough to drown in, but it's enough for people to splash around in, especially children, which is fun. And they have a nice grassy area there too. And now often they block that stuff off for concerts.
Yes.
And especially like EDM type concerts. It seems to be like electronic music concerts seem to be the most popular there, but also right pretty much just in the heart of downtown. You can see the water, you can see the ships, you can see the buildings, and it's a great big open space. Easy to get to. There's underground parking there.
That's the thing too. There is parking at that one because yes, I have been there.
Correct.
And it's not, for me, it has not been, I get like really like about like parking, like parallel parking and stress and people. And that I have not ever felt stressed out finding a place to park when we have gone there.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's right underground. You can enter from the south side, so get into the underground parking, check out the park, and just nearby there's also great amenities like good restaurants
Yeah.
that you can eat there or take out and come back to the park and enjoy. And it's, the nice thing about parks, like a lot of San Diego, is that when people are enjoying, you can feel that energy of people enjoying. And
Yeah.
it's a nice vibe.
Yeah.
So even if you're in a rough mood and you go check out a park for a few minutes, it can boost your mood.
Yeah. It's a good idea to do.
For sure.
Now that has the Midway in it. That's where you can go to the Midway, right?
It's just adjacent. You know, it's a short walk from there. But yeah, so it's just outside there. Yeah.
And I remember, and not to get sidetracked from that because they're so close though, I remember that was the first place we went to in San Diego was the Midway. And we got on the deck and then we looked back at the city.
For sure.
And it was just like you could touch the buildings. It was absolutely magical. And yeah, the restaurants over there that are nearby, I've been to the Brigantine there.
Excellent.
I know there's a lot of those in San Diego. Always fun to go to. The view there is absolutely beautiful.
You get a second floor right there. I think
Yes.
it's called TopSail.
Exactly.
It's a nice view. And it's nearby, so it's a short walk from Waterfront Park. That's the nice thing about a big downtown park. Let's get to the next one, Civita.
Yeah, you know Civita.
I know Civita. It's huge. It's more surprising when you're there because it's like you get there and you're like, where's the park? And it's like multiple levels. There's some shade structures down low, giant chess that you can play. There's ping pong tables out. And then you go up and there's some grass areas, there's some basketball courts, and you go up a little bit further. There's some playground areas for small kids and the playground areas for big kids.
Wow.
And you go up further and there's like a watershed type thing that comes down where they've built in like a channel where overflow water can come. You go through, at the very top, there's stairs that go up to a tunnel that's all murals on the inside. And from the top, you've got a really nice view of Mission Valley.
Wow.
It's in central San Diego, Mission Valley. And it's a great park. It's got great resources. There's a community garden in the middle of it as well, where people have little plots that they
I
can
love
garden.
community gardens.
For sure. And so that's a cool park, and it's surrounded by new housing in Mission Valley.
I know that housing. Yes.
So it's all Civita developments. I think it's like 2,000 plus units.
Yeah.
Lots of nice townhomes, $800,000 plus or so for a nice townhome there. And there's a lot of rentals there as well.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good malls nearby. So, you know, a great place to live. And that's a great amenity for people that want some grassy areas and play areas. And all those communities have smaller parks, but this is like the big one.
Yeah. Giant chess. I bet you play chess and you kick everyone's butt, don't you?
My son has learned. He's 8 years old. I started him at 6. He started up a chess club at his school.
Oh, good for him.
And he's taught everyone at school chess.
That's super cool.
And so they're playing, and it's nice to see them doing it. So it's cool to see kids doing stuff. I was with the kids yesterday for a field trip on the San Diego River, which just goes through Mission Valley.
Yeah.
And the kids on the ride there were like all playing with Rubik's Cubes. I was like, look at these little kids.
Back in the day, that's
It's
our
still
stuff
popular,
there.
yeah.
Back in the day, yeah.
Interesting, huh?
I
Yeah.
picked off all the stickers and then I cheated
Ah,
as a kid.
okay. Probably won't set records that way. But.
No, you certainly won't. I was rotten. I cheated.
Okay, next part, Mission Bay. Right?
Yes.
So Mission Bay is, as a whole, is the largest aquatic park in the world.
That's a heck of a fact. I've been there a million times and I never knew that fact.
2,600 acres, 27 miles of coastline, 19 miles of bike paths.
Wow.
And so you could spend weeks there and not discover it all.
Yeah, you could too.
And there's a lot of good playgrounds and parks there. Mission Bay East is closer to the highway. They built a brand new park, and it's basically like 3 playgrounds in one.
Mm-hmm.
There's like the bigger kids one, a little kids one, and a medium-sized kids one.
Yeah.
And it's great. And when I've been there on a weekend, it's so busy. With my 3 kids, the biggest concern for me is how do I track all 3 kids that are in 3 different areas?
You're going to end up taking someone else's kid home.
Hundreds of kids around. I need to put like tags on them for like geolocation.
You got to air tag your kids.
Something like that to find them. So that was my only concern. But when I drove by this morning, obviously it's like a school day. It was empty, and I was like, okay, cool. We go to that park when it's off times.
Yeah.
Because then there's other parts of Mission Bay that have other great parks. On the west side of Mission Bay, closer towards Belmont Park, where the roller coaster is and stuff like that.
Yes.
There's a new park there. We call it the Pink Park. There is a name for it. It's always named after some person that probably donated some money or it's historically important. What you need to know is it's called the Pink Park. No, it's because it's all pink.
Okay.
And they built it for millions of dollars, and it's a lot of fun for kids like up to 8 to 10 years old. and it's good for like, you know, mid-range kids, and it's fun, it's easy, it's never too busy. And then one of our favorite parks closest to our house is at Fanuel Park.
Okay.
Fanuel Park is on the north side of Sail Bay.
Okay.
And so the water itself counts as parks, but I'm kind of looking at parks as like parks with grass and playgrounds,
Yeah.
not as the aquatic park of let's go sailing and paddleboarding and
Yeah.
wakeboarding and stuff like that, which is perfect for that. But that's why I like Fanuel Park the most, is it's a modest park, but it's on the beach. And so as I'm watching my kids, I can also see the idyllic sailboats go by. And see people on the water really enjoying the reflection of the sun on the water and the vibes that you get from being on the water.
Yeah, you can have like an adult moment.
Yeah.
The kids are running around.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
And the sounds of the kids screaming are kind of faded out by the coastal breeze that you get right there. And you get to lay under a palm tree and just relax and just make sure they don't get smoked by someone that's riding their bike too fast on the boardwalk.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people know to go slower on the playground.
Yeah.
So really like Mission Bay and the parks there, especially for kids parks.
Yeah.
It's nice to have those amenities.
Yeah, we did a lot of walking when we first got into San Diego around Mission Bay. It was one of our usual places to walk around that trail all the way around. Absolutely.
Next one, surprised that we didn't put this as number one. Let's say that these parks are just the top parks in San Diego, not in order of ranking or anything like that, because Balboa Park is arguably one of the best parks, if not just in San Diego, maybe the world.
That's where I actually took my real estate pictures, was Balboa Park.
Yeah.
Because for my business cards and stuff, because that's one of my happy places. Every time, I don't know what it is or what that was built on, but the vibe, I feel a joy there and a calmness, even though it's really busy, and the peace that I don't feel anywhere else.
Okay, here's some trivia for you.
Oh no!
What's bigger, Central Park or Balboa Park? Central Park, New York.
I'm gonna say, because you set me up, it's Balboa Park.
That's right, yeah, you're right.
Yay!
Which is shocking, because if you've ever ridden your bike or taken a horse ride through Balboa Park, it seems gigantic.
Yeah.
And now that I know Balboa Park as well as I do, and I've explored every corner of it, it is gigantic.
Yes, it
It
is.
is gigantic, and so it also includes the entire San Diego Zoo,
Yep.
which is probably like 2% of the park, because it has all of the museums in the area. There's beautiful restaurants there, tennis courts. There's a velodrome, which is where you can do high-speed bicycle racing.
Yeah.
Archery, chess, lawn bowling, Japanese gardens, all kinds of crazy stuff. Rose gardens.
The international houses.
The
that are
international
there?
houses that are there. Space museums, there's basketball courts, indoor basketball courts, car museums, and Morley disc golf is the most popular disc golf course in the world, and that's also in Balboa Park.
Wow.
It's a great amenity.
You're like full of trivia too.
The more trivial, the better.
Not trivial, but trivial trivia. I see, exactly.
Well, that's what trivia is from.
The museum that sticks out most in my mind that we went to, it's really, really small. The train museum. Have you ever been?
I have been there,
So
of course.
cute.
It's great. They have the miniature trains there.
Yes.
And there's like what you'd expect is like 60 to 80-year-old men that like manage each section of it to make sure the kids don't poke at the trains and stuff like that. But they've really done a good job of making these models and diagrams of full functioning cities and countrysides and train yards with these model trains, and you learn a lot about it. And it is fun. It's a great venue, and there's so many museums. I don't even know if I have the number of how many museums. Probably 20 or more.
Yeah, Air and Space. There's the Comic-Con Museum.
Yeah, that's a new one.
The automobile museum, which is a great place to like take your dad to if your dad visits or is in town.
Science Museum, Museum of Man.
Yes.
There's a bunch more.
Yeah, and always field trips in Balboa Park. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, next one. Old Town.
Yay!
That's the heritage park. I feel like there's almost two areas to Old Town, because there's like that big grass area with a big tree, and it's surrounded by a bunch of Mexican restaurants. And there are some museums and houses that you can check out that were built hundreds of years ago, traditional adobe style with thick mud walls, that you can get a feel for what it was like to live in San Diego 200 years ago.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And then they have the section that's a little bit further south, where it's all the painted ladies. You have these Victorian houses that were built in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Those are really well preserved, and you can tour those as well. And there's a street of them, probably about 10 or so houses in that area.
That's cool. I haven't done that yet.
And that's beautiful as well. And Old Town used to be kind of like a tourist attraction for like giant burritos and huge platters of food.
Yeah.
But in addition to the park, they've actually got two of my favorite restaurants in town now, Tahona Bar and Don Pietro, which is an Italian place, and Tahona is like a mezcal place, and they have great food. Both spots are dope. And all of Old Town to go check out seems like it's a park.
Yeah, it's really cool. Cafe Coyote, always fun to go to.
Yep.
We're going to, I haven't been there yet, but we're going to brunch soon at the Tequila Factory.
Okay. Yep.
We're going to be going to brunch soon. Really excited about that. And then at Halloween, we went to the Whaley House.
Yep.
And it's definitely haunted. You feel the vibe. I don't know if you do, but you feel the vibe. And when my husband and I went in it, we actually felt kind of like ill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a deterrent from going in. Go in and check it out. And of course, being a real estate person, I'm like, any opportunity to look at any house, I'm into it. And we both felt kind of ill, and we discussed it. And we went outside, and the feeling went away. What do you think about that?
I don't know what to think about that.
You think we had too much tequila at breakfast?
I was at Don Pietro, and it's across from that little cemetery right there,
Oh, yeah.
which is also known as a haunted cemetery.
Uh-huh.
We saw a guy there with some equipment and some recording stuff and some
Ooh, a
scientific.
ghost hunter guy.
And so I went over and talked to him.
All
Sure
right.
enough, he was
Yeah.
like a popular Instagram ghost hunter.
Ooh,
I was
cool.
there with a few friends, and we're like, all right, we're going to be open-minded. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we're going to do. And he showed us he had his meter, and he was doing stuff and saying things and invoking the ghost to come out.
Oh, okay,
and
great.
I was ready for it. He didn't get anything.
Was it during the day?
It was nighttime.
It was
probably about
nighttime.
9 o'clock.
Okay,
It
yeah.
was dark enough. It was nice.
Maybe there was just like too many people around, and the ghosts were feeling shy.
I'm not sure. It could do a whole nother story on ghost stories because I have some creepy ones.
Do you have personal creepy ghost stories?
Yes.
Oh, I love those.
Yes.
We need to talk.
But they haven't happened in Old Town or in other places that I've been to that are supremely creepy.
Okay.
Personally, but I'm open to it.
Halloween, we're doing a ghost series.
Sounds good.
We're gonna have
I got
to.
some ghost ones.
Yeah, good. I like it.
Well, let's get through Old Town because we're down to our last park, La Jolla Shores.
Yeah.
La Jolla Shores is the beach. There is a grassy area next to it with some playground equipment that's perfect for the kids, and grassy areas where you can kick a ball or throw a frisbee. But the shores is where it's at, where you're at the beach. And obviously the beach line is like the best parks in San Diego.
Yeah.
That was a given. So Kellogg Park being right next to the beach is a nice feature that you can be at the playground, still be at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, it's a really pleasant beach. La Jolla gets a lot of clout for being like one of the fanciest neighborhoods in San Diego. But I would argue that La Jolla Shores is pretty much the only really usable beach they have.
Yeah.
The rest of it is a lot of cliffs and shorelines and rocks and beautiful views, beautiful houses, but not a lot of usable beach.
Yeah.
In fact, I've racked my brain. I don't think there's any beach volleyball courts in La Jolla. And as a beach volleyball player, that was a huge deterrent for me from living there.
You do a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
I think that you're right. There's a few places. Yeah, you're right. Because even outside of like La Jolla Shores Hotel, there's places to sit on the beach. And, but no, I don't know if I've ever seen anyone busting out volleyball. I've seen a wedding or two.
Yeah,
But-
I've been on a wedding there.
Yeah.
For sure.
See, yeah.
But it is great. That's where you can see tiger sharks. You can swim with the tiger sharks.
Oh, cute.
I've gone scuba diving there a bunch of times, and you can see.
What do you not do? I play chess. I play volleyball. I scuba dive.
Here's one thing I don't do: submersible subs to the Titanic.
I'm not talking about that.
Okay,
But yeah, no, nobody should be doing that. No.
Yeah, I wasn't interested in the first place.
No.
But yeah, I do most other things though.
You do a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So the diving in La Jolla is awesome. Just further south at the Cove is probably the best diving in San Diego, where they've got the kelp forest, which is beautiful to dive through.
So cool.
Seals, lobsters, Garibaldi, crabs, turtles. You can catch sea lions. Everything. It's awesome. It's awesome to do and awesome to be down there with them. But this is a pretty good rundown of the parks. If you did this, we got 7 parks you mentioned. If you just got one park every day, you'd have a full week in San Diego.
Yeah, you would too. And it makes me so excited that there's so many places. It's such a good reminder to break out of your own bubble. There's so many great places to go here. But then it also makes me sad because I'm like, there's so much more to experience and see. And I
There's
gotta
a lot.
go, yeah.
there's a lot, and then every time you think you know it all, you hear something else, and I'm like, I need to bookmark that in my maps to make sure I go there when I have an open night.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the benefits of living in San Diego. We've
Yeah.
got so many great outdoor resources and parks and playgrounds and great places to enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely we do.
With that, let's wrap this up.
Yay, thanks, Hennis.
Another great episode of Living in San Diego.